Hello and welcome to another episode of Next Level English, the YouTube channel trying to get you to raise your English to the next level and maybe even the one after that. Okay, so we have a question. We're going to be looking at comparing poems on Lit Paper 2, and our question is, compare how poets present the power of nature in Storm on the Island and one other poem. If you've been subscribed to the channel, if not, please do so. You will see that we've already looked at Storm on the Island, 5 key points, and the same for the poem we're going to compare it to in relation to this question, which is Ozymandias. So if you can pause this video, go back, have a look at that, and come back to this if you want, or just do that afterwards as you choose. Let's crack on. We've got a question. We need to highlight the keywords. We cannot forget we have to compare. So we're going to need to be doing a lot of A-B switching between poems, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And our keywords here are presenting, i.e. the methods used by the poets to show the power of nature and what effect this has on you, the reader. Okay. If you've seen those other videos, you will see that I try and focus on language, structure, form, meaning, context, often doing 2 or 3 of those things at the same time. If I'm talking about language, I want to tie that in with the meaning of the poem in response to the question. If I'm talking about structure, I might talk about context at the same time rather than just add it on in a random fashion. It's much better if you can link ideas together. That shows a developed response. Okay, let's crack on with this question. Compare how poets present the power of nature in Storm on the Island and one other poem. Okay, so I'm starting with my poem A. Storm on the Island opens like a conversation with the use of inclusive pronouns, we and our, as if discussing nature's violence is a normal way of life. And yet the speaker ends by suggesting their fear is irrational, its air is literally nothing. The imagination makes it fearful. So there is a kind of constant link in Heaney's poem between human violence and natural violence. Right, I need to pivot to poem B now. If it's a similarity, I will go with similarly, likewise, also. But if it's a difference, I will use one of these linkers, in contrast, whereas, however, just to be my pivot between poem A and poem B. Okay, it's similar. This is similar to how Shelley structures Ozymandias, using the frame narrative of a traveller relaying an anecdote, as if we are learning firsthand about this sublime landscape and its appalling ruins. Its closing vision of a boundless and bare desert stretching far away is also downbeat, reminding the reader how insignificant mankind is. Great, so I've made a structural point and I've gone from A to B to make that comparison. So doing all the right things I need to be doing. Let's look at some other examples. Right, language point. Heaney presents nature's force as somehow linked to human violence via a lexical field of military language, salvo, strafes, bombardment. I might explore that in more detail if I was doing this as a real answer. What I want to show you here is how I can then tie that military lexical field to the context. Heaney might be inclined to link natural and human violence because of his experiences growing up amidst the stormy politics of the Troubles in Northern Ireland with its constant threat of bombs. So that's tied to the meaning of the poem, which is about the storm, but I'm starting to explore the deeper metaphorical meaning here. All right, is that similar or different to what's happening in poem B? Well, I've gone with contrast because I think Shelley's doing something different. This is in contrast to Shelley, who focuses on the damage nature does to mankind's grand projects. The vivid imagery is of decaying ruins, shattered, vast and trunkless, almost covered in sand. The caesura of nothing beside remains forces the reader to contemplate this vast emptiness. So I'm talking about the effect on the reader there. I'm also going to tie these ideas in to context. As a romantic poet, Shelley found awe and beauty in the terrifyingly sublime grandeur of nature, such as this desert and even time itself, dwarfing mankind. He could also be drawing on the biblical idea of vanity of vanities to remind humans to be more humble. Okay, I think I've got one more point to make, which is on the form. Heaney's use of a single stanza seems to symbolize the solid, impregnable houses the islanders build in reaction to nature's violence. On this island, man's architecture is defined by nature's immense forces. This literal weathering of storms could stem from his tough rural upbringing on a farm in County Antrim. Similarity here. In a similar way, Shelley's use of the sonnet form could be seen as an expression of love for the natural world and how, given enough time, it will bury the arrogance of mankind under sand. Okay, I hope that has been useful for you. Hit like, and I'll see you again soon.